Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor.
Hey guys, good morning. Happy Thursday morning to you. Do have to apologize. I'm not going to be able to do that live video with Pimpy this week or tomorrow, Friday, guys, only because my internet's down, and I need my active internet within my house to be able to do that live video conference call for you guys. So again, I apologize. We'll try to get that rescheduled for next week. Let's get into the news. Most of the news that you guys are seeing right now is all post rate change. I want to stress that to you, that most of the news currently is post rate change. Okay. Things that they're talking about have never happened before. Again, that's because it's post rate change. One of the things that I stressed to you guys with what's happening between Kurdistan and Baghdad right now, okay, where it's a circle, Kurdistan has to send roughly 250,000 oils a barrel per day to Baghdad. Baghdad has to turn around and send budget money back to Kurdistan. Okay, keep in mind, some of that budget money to Kurdistan includes monies for Article 140 and HCL. Okay, so again, those steps are post-rate change, okay? And it's a circle. That's why Kurdistan gives oil to Baghdad. Baghdad gives budget money back to Kurdistan. It's a circle, okay? And again, those are post-rate change steps. Second, there's an article in this morning's news talking about reforms. Those are post-rate change. The reconstruction, again, that was from the war that ended 2 years ago in December of 17. That's post-rate change. So all those monies, guys, and steps are post-rate change. That's why none of these steps have taken place or are occurring at this time, because ultimately, guys, all monies for all of those items are allocated and coming from the 2020 budget, which also has to have transparency associated with it to reduce and control the corruption going forward, okay? So as of right now, guys, per the facts, in my opinion, the number one thing we're waiting on is that 2020 budget. Now, with the current caretaker government, yes, they do need to get a new PM in, and they've got roughly from 12/1, they had about 15 days per the Constitution to get a new PM in. And then per the Constitution, the new PM will have approximately 30 days per the Constitution to form his cabinet. So that's your tentative time frame on the Prime Minister and the cabinet. And then keep in mind, though, as of right now, they're not making any changes to Parliament. That's the lawmaking group that would also approve the budget. So current news from this morning is telling us that they're tentatively going to send the election law to Parliament and the budget, the first reading of the budget, to Parliament next week for a first reading. So let's see what happens on that. But I want to stress that to you guys, that even with the current status of the government, which is a caretaker government, Parliament still can still pass and approve laws. Okay, so that's where we're at, guys. Here's your morning news. Have a great day.
Parliamentary legal. The election law is disputed and will be postponed until next week, December 5th, 2019. Baghdad Obelisk, a member of the legal committee, Hussein Al-Aqabi, Thursday, that the House of Representatives will vote today on the Commission's law after the resolution of the contentious point, pointing out that the election law is disputed between the parliamentary blocs and postponed to next week. Al-Aqabi said in a statement followed by the Obelisk, the legal committee is discussing today the formation of the Independent High Electoral Commission and the mechanism of its choice, noting that there are components within Iraqi society want to impose their presence within the Council of Commissioners, especially from the region. He pointed out that the proposal made by us at the selection of members of the commission after the conditions applied to it from the professors of the competent universities and judges, and to be divided by lot and not quotas, whatever the result of the lot, even if it is one component. He added that the Kurds object to this proposal and want to ensure their presence in the commission, adding that the only disagreement on this point only and the discussion is still ongoing. He continued, the proposal includes the exit of all general managers in the commission, and this is agreed upon and not a source of disagreement between the parties. He stressed that the law of the various elections between the parliamentary blocs and will be postponed to next week, explaining that the House of Representatives will vote today on the Commission law after resolving the controversial point. Kurdistan announces delivery of Baghdad 250,000 barrels of crude oil per month December 5, 2019. Baghdad. The Minister of Finance of the Kurdistan Regional Government announced today, Thursday, that the federal government in Baghdad delivered 250,000 barrels of crude oil per month. This came in a joint press conference held today by the Minister of Finance of Kurdistan, Sheikh Janab, with the Secretary of the Regional Council of Ministers, Amanj Rahim, and the head of the Cabinet Office of the Region's Council, Omid Saba, and reported by the Kurdish media. Sheikh Janab said, "We decided to hand over 250,000 barrels of oil per day to Baghdad every day, noting that we agreed on a formula for paying loans, adding that most of the Kurds' demands have been proven." He pointed out that we have reached an agreement with Baghdad on the budget and oil, noting that reducing the share of the Kurdistan region in the financial budget was unfortunately a political decision. The minister explained that our negotiations this time with Baghdad were successful, stressing that if Baghdad abides by the agreement, there will not be any problems regarding the payment of employee salaries, and that the ball is now in the court of the Iraqi parliament regarding the budget, stressing that the Kurdistan region will adhere to the agreement that we reached with Baghdad. The State of Law Coalition announced yesterday, Wednesday, its refusal to implement any agreement the current government will make with the Kurdistan region, as it is a caretaker government. The Kurdistan Regional Government, after a meeting held last Tuesday, expressed its hope to implement what was agreed with the Federal Ministry of Finance in Baghdad. According to a statement, the meeting expressed the hope to implement what was agreed between the two sides, and urged the Kurdish blocs in the House of Representatives and other blocs to support the preparation of subsequent stages during the discussion of the draft budget, including securing constitutional rights and financial benefits for the Kurdistan region. Finished. Saleh and an American envoy discuss international support for Iraq and achieve the required reforms December 5, 2019. President Barham Saleh received at the Peace Palace in Baghdad on Thursday the U.S. Special Envoy to Syria James Jeffrey and the U.S. Ambassador to Iraq Matthew Thieler and the delegation accompanying them. During the meeting, they discussed international support to enhance the security and stability of Iraq and achieve the required reforms, and stressed the importance of developing bilateral relations and expanding the horizons of cooperation and trade exchange between the two countries in the service of common interests, said a presidential statement. They also reviewed the latest developments in Syria and the events in the region and the need to consolidate international peace and security. KRG delegation to visit Baghdad ahead of Parliament decision on budget bill December 5, 2019. Erbil, a delegation from the Kurdistan region, is planning to visit Baghdad within days for a political settlement that could help the approval of the budget bill at the legislature. Erbil and Baghdad have reached an agreement over their prolonged budget and oil disputes. According to the deal, Erbil will deliver 250,000 barrels of oil to Baghdad daily in return for its share from Iraq's 2020 federal budget. MP Ahmad Safar, head of Iraqi Parliamentary Committee for Financial Affairs, confirmed the report and said the Kurdish delegation will seek other major parliamentary factions' approval for the bill. According to Safar, the bill will most likely be presented to the parliament next week. Erbil and Baghdad reach understanding on KRG loans, Minister December 5, 2019. Kurdistan Regional Government Minister of Finance and Economy Awad Sheikh Janab speaks in a press conference in Erbil, December 5, 2019. 3 hours ago. Suleimani, the Kurdistan Regional Government, KRG, has reached an understanding with the federal government about the repayment of debt owed by the KRG, said a senior official on Thursday, December 5. Erbil has also agreed to hand over all data and statistics about loans and payroll lists to the federal government, Minister of Finance and Economy Awad Sheikh Janab said. An amount of money will be provided for the Kurdistan region's loans, he told reporters. The KRG has reached agreements with the federal government on oil exports and the region's share of the federal budget. The KRG said on Tuesday that Erbil will send 250,000 barrels of oil per day to Baghdad starting next year, and in return Baghdad will transfer the region's full share of the budget, which currently amounts to 12.67%. The KRG carries a significant amount of debt, owed to both local and foreign banks. Additionally, it owes the region's public sector employees significant sums from the salary withholding scheme that ended earlier this year. The contours of the deals that emerged over the last 2 weeks appear to be similar to the provisions of the 2019 federal budget law, parts of which the KRG ignored by refusing to send oil to Baghdad. It claimed that it could not do so because it had to service its debt. Secretary of the KRG's Council of Ministers Amanj Rahim said during the press conference that the agreements would be implemented after the federal budget law was adopted and published in the official Gazette of Iraq next year. He added Baghdad would continue to send employees salaries every month in 2020 if a federal budget was not adopted by the Council of Representatives, accordance with the 2019 law. Because of Erbil's refusal to comply with the 2019 budget, The KRG was facing the prospect of difficult negotiations with Baghdad for the 2020 cycle. These were further complicated by the ongoing anti-establishment protests that have swept central and southern Iraq over the past 2 months.